That might be okay. That's good. Yeah, it's so slow, but
yeah, there's you can see it.
Yeah,
there is some definition.
It wants to start going, and then it kind of stops, and then it slowly goes.
It's kind of a defined changing of direction, but then it kind of...
Yeah.
Storm's Equinox Solid releases on October 17th, so it's about a week away, and Tobias is up first to check out this unique but interesting release. Test pattern is Kegel Chromium at Royal Crest Lanes in Lawrence, Kansas. He's using the same layout as always, so comparison balls later will be drilled the same for reference. This has the same core as the original Equinox. Cores follow lines the vast majority of the time, so if it's an Equinox, it'll have the asymmetric Solarian AI core. Strong old school kind of asim numbers, 248 RG, 054 differential, 018 int diff. Those are virtual gravity halo kind of numbers if you go that far back. This line on the website from the core description fits well. It's designed with 3 distinct cylinders that optimize motion. The largest cylinder lowers the RG for fast revving and a tumbling front lane read. A top cylinder enhances drilling versatility, while the lightweight base increases torque and continuation. It does rev quickly, it is slightly tumbly. Depending on layout, you'll either get into that top cylinder more or less, which affects the post-drilling numbers, and this is a very continuous ball reaction, so it's a solid and accurate description. The A2S solid cover, which comes at 2000 grit on the EQS, is where we start to go off the rails. The original Equinox had a 1S. Its description had me worried, but it's ended up being a great cover on both the original and the High Road 40. It's clean and sharp, but really stable and controllable at the same time. A2S is in similar territory, but it's stronger. It does still see the lane very well. That's something that's hard to describe, and I've done it in other videos, so we'll move on for now. But basically, it means the cover is more consistent, predictable, and less sensitive. It is the fastest absorbing cover in the lineup currently, and I do want to talk about that because people have misconceptions there. USB-C's limit on oil absorption is 2 minutes and 15 seconds. A ball can't absorb oil any faster than that. So when they say fast absorbing, people envision a ball just sucking oil off a lane like a vacuum, and that's absolutely not what happens. This ball will still come out of the return with oil on it. You'll still have to towel or chamois it off before your next shot, so use a little logic here too. The purpose or idea behind a ball absorbing oil is so that it keeps the cover dry and tacky for each subsequent shot, so shot to shot to shot is strong and consistent. If oil stays on the cover and the ball gets slimy, it's going to be weak and lazy and deflect at the pins. This ball is smooth, but still picks up strong, it moves with authority, and it gets into and through the pins strongly and decisively. That's the point of oil absorption. Not to saturate a ball and kill it faster so that they can sell more bowling balls. If you do your maintenance like you have to do on everything else you own in your life, this ball will be fine and it'll keep performing. I haven't heard a thing about the original dying quickly, and I don't think that'll happen here either. The kind of laughable part, though, is how overboard they go describing the explosive back-end reaction, sharp angular motion, uniquely dynamic. This ball is none of that for Tobias or the other dozen reviewers I've seen throw it, but it is unique. People throw around, oh, this ball reminds me of the Alpha Crux, and I've done that a handful of times myself, I'll admit it. This ball has that same unique, weird motion where the change of direction is defined and easy to see, but then it rounds back off and has that archy climbing motion. Seeing the lane, again, means how consistently it reacts, and the Equinox Solid starts doing what it does at the same length down the lane no matter where he's standing. As he gets deeper, obviously the ball starts slowing down because it's on the smoother side. It's not going to be a get left and throw it right kind of ball, but it does consistently do the same thing no matter where he's standing, plus it's very readable. Readable means predictable. You can tell how it's reacting from straighter that it's not going to want to cover a lot of boards. Some balls really turn sideways, so you move deep and give it some angle, and then it goes 60 feet and wiggles. That's not readable, that doesn't make sense. This ball does make sense. It's a smooth climbing arc that's very continuous with a slight tumble, and it's going to be best on fresher to lightly transition lanes. They also say that it's as strong as the Ion Max, but with a dramatically different shape, but we didn't see that. It's actually even smoother than the Max, and definitely a step down on strength. Tobias thinks it's much more in smoother XL territory, or is somewhere between the Absolute Power and Origin EX. It's stronger and smoother than the Power, but he said the Equinox Solid is still usable and effective at his dryer center where the EX would still burn up. Others have said Eternity Pi, but he had the Pi a decent amount sharper than this one. An outside brand comparison from my eyes would be the Black Widow 3.0. I see a ton of the same stuff out of both balls. That same archy climbing shape that's defined but smooth and really consistent all at the same time. It definitely wants to stay straighter than fourth arrow. Now I'm sure that that's where Zach is going to hang out with his because he's got a heavier roll, and it's so continuous that he should be able to get it back from anywhere, but for most people it's going to be a third arrow kind of ball. The best bowler type fits are probably going to be rev and speed matched bowlers. If you have higher speed and a lower rev rate, it may hook enough for you, but probably be too smooth. And if you have the opposite, it's going to be a lot of ball. But if you have higher speed and higher rev rate to go with it, you'll be in really good shape. I think this is going to be a two-hander wet dream in general. It sees the lane well, but it's really controllable. If you're medium, there's strength without overreaction, and low speed, low revs will get a predictable and throwable ball that gives you some oomph without the overkill on strength or response. It's $200 on Bowler's Mart, and that's top-of-the-line pricing for a top-of-the-line ball. I don't think it's a deal, of course, but it's competitive and what you would expect a ball like this to cost. I've also talked in the last several videos about the collection from CoolWick benefiting the local rescue that we support and fundraise for, which is Positive Tails KC, so I'll fast-track this a little bit. We have jerseys and t-shirts and even tank tops with $5 per tank or t-shirt and $15 per jersey going to the rescue, so follow the link in the description to the collection if you're interested. Any support is greatly appreciated. Discount codes will not work on these items, of course, they're for charity, so we wanted to make sure the rescue gets as much as possible. This is pushing A+ kind of ball reaction. It's not a mega versatile ball, but versatility isn't always the big deal it's made out to be. This is pushing A+ kind of ball reaction. It's not a mega versatile ball, but versatility isn't always the big deal it's made out to be, because a lot of the times you'll get yourself into jack of all trades, master of none type of situations. I want a ball to ultimately be effective at what it does. If it's effective at several different things, great, and I do think this ball is to a certain extent, but sometimes I want a ball like the Hyperdrive Pearl that's going to fly down and turn sideways, and sometimes I want a ball like this that'll be more of a benchmark ASIM. This will be great on cliffed house shots and more difficult patterns from medium light to medium heavy conditions for a lot of bowlers. Most people won't be able to cover a lot of boards with it, but why would you care if you could camp out on third arrow and never miss the pocket like Tobias did to finish the video? Video is also a funny thing because the Ion Max doesn't look much different. It's a different color, but reaction across the board is really similar on video. However, anyone who throws these balls together at the same surface will tell you the Max is definitely the stronger ball. It's hard to see strength sometimes when you're not on a ton of oil. Chromium is 25.5 mils, which is more than most house shots, but it's still not the 30 mils that you see on a lot of patterns now. So while I won't gaslight you here and will agree that they look similar on video, I also want to make sure you don't think you can just flip a coin here. I'm not trying to go out of my way to convince you they're different so that you'll buy an extra ball. I'm trying to make sure that you don't think that if you're after a heavy oil ball, that you can just flip a coin between these two. This is a 2-ball, it's a strong 2-ball, but this isn't on the level of an Ion Max or a Jackal Onyx or a Mesmerize. Neither was the Alpha Crux, and instead of saying, oh, it's like it or it's kind of close, this is the closest thing to the Alpha I've seen since the Alpha, and I think people can stop spending $500 on 10-year-old balls now. Once again, release date is October 17th. I have Zach's review coming soon. We have the live commentary and discussion coming up next. Members will get the full version, and as always, if you have any comments or questions, please leave those down below.
Just change the hand position. That might be okay. That's good. Yeah, it's so slow, but
Yeah, you can see it. Yeah, there is some definition.
It wants to start going, and then it kind of stops,
yeah,
and then it slowly goes.
It's kind of a defined changing of direction, but then it kind of...
Yeah. That's what threw me off the first few times I threw it. I was like, oh, it's going to hook, and then it just turned like a slow arcing hook, and I was like,
yeah.
It's a little more, it's chuggier than the original one, too. So I don't know if that's just the colors on it or the surface, but... Uh-oh, that's trouble.
Almost looks like weaker harsh reality.
Yeah, I could see that.
The harsh was kind of slower, but it was that defined. But it was so strong that it was kind of pukey sometimes.
Yeah. Well, I mean, like I said, like I could throw this on house, but
yeah,
I couldn't throw any of those balls on house just because they would burn up halfway down the lane. They would just have nothing at the end. But on sports shots, yeah, they look fantastic. But Slap it out. Yeah,
It does have that kind of thing where it seems to see the lane at the same length, the same distance,
Yeah.
no matter where you're standing.
That it does, yeah. It's just so. It's slow enough where it's controllable enough to do a lot of things. But at the same time, it's not like so early on the lane that it just.
Yeah. Well, it looks like you can still roll it. You don't have to chuck it to get it down the lane.
Yeah.
But then you can really control. That kind of lets you control what it does down lane with your hand.
Yeah.
Because you're not having to chuck it. You can actually roll it and manipulate it a little bit.
Yep. Surprisingly, it's just, I don't know. It's good. It's, for me, it's good. I don't know. I don't want to.
Well,
I'm not trying to do the old hype it up, but.
Well, it looks like it's really hard to miss the pocket width.
Yeah, like I said, I've shot at 3 leagues. So my lowest score was like 720. So.
Yeah.
So it's pretty, especially at our house where there's a lot of friction, and but it was working. It's good. Yeah. It's gonna be a good one. I wasn't for sure what to expect. I thought it was gonna be like really strong, but it's probably, the hyperdrive, then probably this one is where it would slot at for me.
But is it still a little stronger than something like an XL? Or is it?
I would say.
Well, the XL was a little bit stronger than it was supposed to be too, I think. So.
Yeah, I would say this might be just a. I think for me the XL was a little more shaped down lane, like it was more off the spot. And this is kind of slower than the XL, but I would probably have them pretty in the same area.
Okay.
Just a slower version of it, but
That makes sense.
Some people say the XL was really slow for them, but for me it was more of a defined shape. Pretty. But. Whoops. That's better. Yeah, it's nothing crazy. It's just slow but yeah, I don't really know like what it. Maybe supernova-ish, maybe.
Yeah, it does seem to kind of live in its own.
Yeah.
Even if you can think of something else that shapes like it's either a little stronger or a little weaker than that, and then something in the same strength bracket, it's probably going to be slower than.
Yeah. Let's see if we can get left and get her to come back a little bit.
This video was brought to you by Panda Bear Productions. We put the in bowling.